My mom got a $30,000 personal loan in my name without my knowledge. The account is from February, which was when they bought a boat. Now they've missed 4 payments and told me they're going to let it default since the boat can't be repossessed. And they're going to call DCFS on me, which is the Department of Children and Family Services. It's like CPS. All right, toxic families incoming. I knew my mom had her eye on a pontoon boat for the last year. She and my dad retired in 2022. And while they aren't swimming in money, they weren't hurting much for it either. Or so I thought. I didn't think a lot of it since they always rented a pontoon boat 2 to 3 times a year and didn't appear to have money issues. At the start of July, I began getting my ducks in a row to buy a house. When I applied for pre-approval, I found out my credit score was barely over 600, and I had an extra $30,000 in debt I had no idea about. Even worse, it was 90 plus days late. I told the lender the account wasn't mine, and he said my identity had probably been stolen. But it was probably someone close to me, as the money would have had to go to a bank account with my name on it. I shared a bank account with my ex-fiance and asked the bank to look into it. They said the account had been closed a couple of years ago when we broke up, and no attempts to send money to or take money from it have been made since. I filed a dispute with the company and the credit agencies, as it was obvious to me I had been hacked or my identity had been stolen. About a week ago, I got a notice from the company to my apartment, the first I had ever heard from them, saying they were going to charge off the account if the payment wasn't made. I requested more information from them and they linked me to their fraud department. They were able to tell me where the money was sent, to a bank account from when I was a minor that I shared with my mom. When I called that bank, they confirmed there was activity on the account and the statement showed the loan coming in and almost all of the money being transferred into what looks like my mom's account at the same bank. I haven't used that bank in more than a decade. Why didn't you close the account that you shared with your mom? But, you don't assume your parents are going to steal money from you or steal your identity. This is why this is in toxic families and not regular families. I called my mom and asked her about it, and she, after a long pause, said that's how they bought the boat. They made 1 payment on the account and realized they probably couldn't afford the monthly payments for the next 5 years. Yeah. When I asked why they hadn't told me, she said it was because they figured I would say no. Yeah, that would have happened, and no would have been the right answer. They were right. And that they had worked hard in their lives and wanted to enjoy retirement on your dime. It ended by them saying the boat couldn't be repossessed because it was a personal loan. My mom suggested declaring bankruptcy, and I told them I was going to the police. My mom said not to do that because they wouldn't take it seriously. Yes, they would. When I told her I was doing it anyway, she hinted that she might have to call DCFS on me. My 2-year-old burned themselves on a hot pan earlier this year. Simple ER visit and was told accidents happen. He's fine. That was all in parentheses. Regarding an unsafe home. I think I'm still going to go to the police because declaring bankruptcy would make it impossible to buy a house. Yes, I just needed to vent and I'm looking for advice. And here are some comments from the top commenters. Copying this for every identity situation I see on here, since it seems to happen a lot. It does, and it's usually a freaking family or someone you know, where you know who the person is who stole your identity. This is all information you can find on this sub and other subs on Reddit. So number 1, call the police. You're the victim of identity theft, plain and simple. It doesn't matter who did it or what your relationship is to them. They broke the law. Now they have to face the consequences of their actions. 2, freeze your credit. You want to make sure it doesn't happen again. Take the proactive route of freezing your credit. 3, monitor and track your credit. You need to be alerted if anyone tries opening a line of credit in your name. This gives you a way to do it for free, and it shows you your credit score, and there's a link. Warn anyone else who might be a victim. This includes family members or anyone else whose social security number might be compromised by a thief. 5, take the police report to the credit bureaus. Give them the report number when you dispute all of the accounts. Most of the time, that will be enough for them to take the accounts off of your credit. It's on the creditors themselves to prove the accounts are legitimately yours, and the bureaus aren't going to get in the middle of it. A police report goes a long way in clearing up your credit. Don't take identity theft lying down, even if it's someone close to you. If you let them get away with it, get ready for 5 to 10 years of bad credit. Collection agencies coming after you, lawsuits, etc. That's right. If you don't go to the police, if you don't if you don't get it declared fraud, you're going to be on the hook for the money and you won't be able to do anything with your credit for a very, very long time. And the people who did it to you will smile in your face. And you don't want that. You don't want those people smiling in your face. Okay. Your mom 100% committed familial identity theft, and now she's trying to scare you into not reporting her. Don't let her scare you. DCFS, or the same thing in other states, DCS, DFS, CWS, etc., are typically only going to take action against you or anyone else if there are clear-cut signs of abuse. It sounds like a minor burn months ago is nothing. The ER staff is right. Accidents happen. Anyone can make an online report for the Children and Family Services on anyone for anything. It literally means nothing unless it's a legitimate report, and even then, the sad state of many of these states' services means even real reports of real abuse slip through the cracks. It's true. I would look into a restraining order if she tries, though. I would look into getting her to admit that she's going to do that through text or through email so you have a paper trail. So if it does actually happen, you can then take her to small claims court for harassment. And, for money. Don't declare bankruptcy, whatever you do. Just make the police report and give that information to the company that gave them the loan and the credit bureaus. They'll take care of the rest. Commenter 2. She stole $30,000, potentially ruined your financial future for 7 years, threatened to put your child in a situation where they could be taken from you illegitimately and put in foster care for an effing pontoon boat. True. Okay, and here is the update. I filed my police report the same day as my first post. The officer and I talked for probably 20 minutes, and I printed out a statement from the bank. I spoke with a detective a couple of days later for another 20 minutes. Fast forward about 2.5 weeks, and my dad called saying my mom had been arrested. Noise. He said an officer and a detective showed up at their house asking to speak with her. When she went onto the porch, they grabbed her and arrested her. The detective, the same one I talked to, explained they had a warrant. My mom has never been in trouble with the law in her life, and she got arrested on a felony. Damn, all because you wanted a nice little retirement on someone else's dime. They tried talking to her, and she immediately requested a lawyer. They stopped asking questions, but didn't let her see a lawyer right away. My dad was furious, but the detective told him to have a lawyer go down to the county jail in the morning before she went to the judge. The next morning, apparently she and the lawyer talked, and she was released in the afternoon with a new court date. About a week later, I get a call from DCFS to meet with me about my son. I had nothing to hide, so I agreed. We spoke for about half an hour at my department. I explained the situation. Can I speak? Can I finish, please? Can I finish? Okay, I'm finished. Terrence and Phillip, South Park. She seemed understanding and told me there are no obvious issues. She just had to follow up on a report. Take your mom to court for that. Because it's obvious that she did that as retaliation. And if that's the case, that is harassment. And you can't take them to small claims court for that. If you're in the U.S., I'm not sure where they are. I will say, if I'm ever in trouble, I'm hiring a lawyer. The case was dismissed at her next court date in late September. Oh no! The detective called me the next day and explained the state attorney believed that they wouldn't be able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt she intentionally stole my identity. Yeah, okay. He said he figured it was a BS reason because he had documents from the bank and loan company. She knows somebody in the court system and got off. He said the state attorney drops lots of cases, even open and shut ones, especially when it's not violent and they have hired an attorney. She never made a statement other than her attorney telling the detective she didn't do it. He also said the loan company might go after my mom in a lawsuit. Okay, that would actually be retribution. She might not go to jail for the crime she committed, but the loan company could still sue her and try to get their money back. That would be justice enough to a degree. What brings me back here is that a couple weeks ago, the account dropped off my credit. Even better, though, I got a letter from DCFS yesterday saying the allegation against me was unfounded. I'm never talking to my piece of trash mom again. Recommended. Thank you, everyone who gave me advice and hope in my first post. It just sucks that she is probably going to end up with a free boat out of it, unless the loan company sues her, which I hope they do. Me too. Commenter number 1. Send the loan company the address where the boat is kept with the photo. Commenter number 2. I'm glad you took advice and did the right thing and glad things worked out for you except for your parents being horrible and the case being dropped, the criminal case being dropped. To give a bit of context, the DA, I posted this here before, but I'm not a lawyer, but I've worked professionally with prosecution on a bunch of cases, and going through an entire trial is crazy expensive and time consuming. Like 6 figures and 3 years isn't an uncommon cost. This is my guess on why this kind of thing doesn't get prosecuted pretty much ever, because there's basically no chance of recidivism. It's a crime of opportunity where she has very limited opportunities, and it's not likely to deter others from doing this if they make an example of a couple people. So there's no real legal benefit in spending the time and money to prosecute. The loan company probably will sue her, hopefully, but that shouldn't really make you feel better. The loan company issued a loan in your name based on her signature, which they can now prove is her signature, so they must have known they were issuing an illegal loan at the time. If anything, I kind of wish they couldn't recover, because unlike other random parents, other loan companies are likely to stop doing this if enough of them have huge losses from their loans. Oh, okay, so this loan company likely knew that it was a fraudulent loan, is what they're saying. And if they couldn't recover the money, it would actually deter other loan companies from making these kinds of fraudulent loans. I get it. Comment to 3. Have a lawyer send a cease and desist letter stating, since you took out a loan in my name, and then call DCFS, Child Protective Services, you are no longer able to contact me or my child. Attach a copy of the loan papers and DCFS report. Yes, do this. If she tries to contact you after that, look into a restraining order. That is great advice. Do this. Have a lawyer send a cease and desist letter to both of your parents, stating that since you fraudulently took out a loan in my name and you unfoundedly called DCFS on me in retribution, you are no longer able to contact me and my child. And guaranteed she will try to contact you and her child, and after that. And if that happens, you should be able to get a restraining order on her. Absolutely do that. And that is the end of this story.